Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
A sign in an Indiana storefront window. Quote, "We would rather do business with President Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, all the elites of Congress, the mass media, and Hollywood than with one conservative American." Wow. This sign was prominently displayed in the window of a business in Whiting, Indiana. You are probably outraged at the thought of such an inflammatory statement. However, we are a society which holds freedom of speech as perhaps our greatest liberty. After all, it's just a sign. And you may ask yourself, what kind of business dare post such a sign? The answer? Owen's Funeral Home. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Thank you very much, and welcome aboard the good ship Zeb at the Ranch. We're sailing for the next 3 hours. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and sponsored by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And without now, as we say every day, further ado, we go over to the main studios. Wow, what a pretty blue sky out there, Gina.
It is absolutely gorgeous, and it's going to be a wonderful day. As soon as we get off the show, we can run outside.
Yeah. The key word there is run. Operative word is run.
Yes, exactly. So how are you doing this morning?
I need you, if you can, and I know, but to boost me up in my headsets a little bit, what I'm getting from you and what I get from the station. Boy, it's really low this morning for some reason. Other than that, I'm doing well. I'm involved in new exercises for the sciatic nerve on my leg, and I got to tell you, and Deanne's helping me with the exercises, and she absolutely revels in the fact of watching my face contort and the veins stick out, sweat rolling down my brow, words forming on my lips. She's loving it.
Good for Deanne.
Good
for you for keeping with it.
What are you giggling about over there?
Well, because Deanne kind of likes it when you're in pain.
Well, you know, there's the one stretch on that sciatic nerve that I do, and I guarantee you it will change your whole personality. You will go from a nice person to an evil, sinister person in 5 seconds.
It's that painful, huh?
Oh, my goodness. Hey, do we have a pledger?
We have Kilt Man on for the pledge and Mr. Michael Rogers on for the weather.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Kilt Man, good morning. Give us the pledge, please.
You bet. Way to go, Deanne. Keep it up.
Thanks, Kilt Man.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kilt Man. God bless you, man. Take care. Having a wonderful weekend. It's going to be beautiful out there, okay?
You too, my friend.
All right, thank you. It's time for the weather, and it's brought to you by some really good friends of ours. Save on Shells at 1835 Overland in Burley. Looking for a camper shell for your pickup? I know where they are. Protect your saddles, tools, groceries, everything in the back of that pickup with Save on Shells. I'll tell you more about it in just a minute. Here's Michael Rogers' weather.
Hi, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got summer weather all the way through the weekend with a daytime high starting out at 75 and a daytime high of Saturday, 84. It's going to be nice and hot. Nice weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael, and appreciate your great weather forecast. Sounds beautiful out there. Hey, Save on Shells, 1835 Overland and Burley with all the new ARE camper shells. Oh, my goodness sakes, I love them. Different models are right there for you. They've also got a fantastic selection of used shells, and they've got those bed slides that help eliminate a lot of the lifting and the work, and they can and will find any kind of a shell you're looking for. Installation, parts, and service, they're good. You call Anthony at 312-1525. How do I know so much about Save on Shells? Well, I'll tell you. I bought one from these folks, and I am a happy customer. Save on Shells, 1835 Overland in Burley. Hey, Merv, come on in here. Merv May, sell some cattle, would you please?
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all the 31 moment.
That's the voice of the world's best auctioneer at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, along with Lance Udy, Merv May, and the rest of the crew serving you. Number to call the office, 678-9411. And today's sale time at 10:30. Just some of the cattle that we know are going to be there today. Wes Goff. Hello, Wes. How are you and your mom and everybody else? Say howdy. Over in Rupert. Good, folks. 65 head of 5 to 6 weight mixed cattle coming in. Thanks, Wes. Along with Lynn Higley out of Malad, bringing in a trailer load of mixed cattle. And then we've got butcher cows coming from the Moo Mountain Dairy, Southridge Dairy, and TLK Dairy, and a really good trailer run. They're going to be in the line letting off cattle all morning long. Sale time 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all the 31 moment. 31 going to 32, 2 and a half, 3 and a half, 134, 4 and a half, 5 and a half, 135, 50, 135 and a half, $7.35. Zeb Mail, get bottom again.
Oh, I'd like to have that bottom on anytime I sell those cattle at those prices. Hey, Denny's Restaurant. I've had many people call me and say, thank you. Thank you for having Zeb's Lunch Bunch over at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness. The Grand Slams, the omelets, the breakfast, the lunches, the sandwiches, the dinners. Everything is fantabulous at Denny's Restaurant, and I mean it. Give somebody a gift card to go over and enjoy some of the great food. You better believe it. Denny's Restaurant, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, 611 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see these really good people today. The service is great. Food's fantastic at Denny's Restaurant. Also, I want to remind everybody that we are in the heat, literally, of the political campaign for the primaries, and I want to extend to everybody that we're going to try to be as fair as absolutely possible to get everybody on the air. And one of those folks we want to mention right now this morning is, of course, our dear friend Joe Larson for Cassia County Clerk. For the last 4 years, Joe Larson has worked tirelessly for Cassia County as County Clerk. With nearly 35 years' experience as a businessman in the Mini-Cassia area, Joe is a solid advocate for you, the taxpayer. And he advocated for prudent investments in county infrastructure like the Cassia County Justice Center, which was built without incurring any debt, because Joe believes local government should operate frugally and responsibly. Don't forget, Cassia County benefits from consistent and experienced leadership. On May 20th, re-elect Joe Larson for Cassia County Clerk. Paid for by the committee to re-elect Joe Larson. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. And our thanks go out to everybody that's on our program regarding all the politicals, and we will try to treat, as I said, everybody as fair as possible. Today is May Day, the 1st of May, and it's also National Day of Prayer. And at the very last of this program this morning, we will have our prayer for this great United States of America, and you and I, and we'll have Pastor Alex Lissau give us a call at approximately 10:55 this morning. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Well, hello there, Sunshine Superman.
Yeah, hey, you watched that Geraldo last night on his ranting and raving on the Hannity show?
No, as a matter of fact, Al, I didn't see a bit of it last night. I'm sorry. Clue me in. What happened?
Okay, you know that guy back in Oklahoma that had that botched execution?
Yeah.
Geraldo said, "Oh, what are we turning into, a third world country?" And he went on and on and on about it. It was so terrible. I got news for Geraldo. What about that poor 18-year-old kid that was buried alive while he watched her die?
Yeah. You'll
be so nice to him.
Well, Al, I am one of these people, and I think you are too, that I really do not have any real whoa-ho, boo-hoo, poor person feelings for anybody that's committed a heinous murder crime like this. Proven guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt, sentenced to die. I don't care how they die, whether it's a firing squad, whether it's death by hanging, or whether it's a botched medical problem that the medicine didn't work while he's laying on the gurney. I don't care. Because of the heinous crime they committed, I have no sympathy for these people.
That's why I say do away with this damn medicine, or, the drugs they put in there. They don't work all right. The only one way to do it, put that heart symbol over where the heart is, firing squad, have two guys take the shots, and nobody knows who do it.
I'm not going to argue that, because I think the sympathetic attitude of this country towards these heinous crimes and these killers that are allowed to languish in their cells and get the public attitude on their side and file the many, many appeals at the cost of the taxpayers, and this thing goes on and on. I say the old Judge Roy Bean days are the best. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, all the witnesses, eyewitnesses, the evidence, etc., try them in the morning and hang them the next morning.
I tell you, I thought that little blonde-headed gal was going to haul off and smack him. I wish he had done it.
Well, I am not a fan of Geraldo Rivera, as you know, and some of his comments are very incendiary and very liberal, and I think that we've gone way too far in our society of honoring and putting on a pedestal the perpetrators of the crime and forgetting how heinous it was against the victims.
Have a good one.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and they've got all the light bulbs. Go to the light. Go to the light. Yes, they've got incandescent light bulbs. They bought a bunch of those, and then I bought a bunch of them, and you should too, clear or frosted, in the 40, 60, 75, or 100-watt size, and they've also got the CFL bulbs, and they've got all the outside lighting. They've got the lights for you. You don't have to live in the dark. They've got all the lights. And, of course, they've got all your electrical needs right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. By the way, I want to also mention real quick, if I may, and then we'll get into our first topic of this morning, that Valleywide Home and Ranch is going to have a great big spa giveaway for Mom. That's right. You can really give something nice to your mom, and all you have to do is stop in and register, and she might win an hour massage from Sublime Touch. Oh, she's going to love that. Yes, Mother's Day is fast approaching, and Valleywide Home and Ranch has a perfect gift for us. So get in there and register. Maybe your mom will be the winner. And there's all kinds of other gifts, too. They're going to have the drawing on May 9th. Don't forget that. They've got all the Montana Silversmith jewelry, and they've got all the summer clothing, and if she likes to garden, oh my goodness, have they got all the gardening equipment and the seeds, everything at Valleywide Home and Ranch. And that's at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Really nice people at Valleywide. Super good folks. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. This is so sad, and it's so embarrassing for the United States of America, supposedly the strongest country ever to be on the face of the earth ever, but now we have to pay. Listen to this. A Russian diplomat told us yesterday, told us, the United States, in a very snide and sarcastic fashion, he said, hey, why don't you go use a trampoline to launch your next astronaut? See, for those of you that are unaware of it, we, because of the cancellation of our space program with Obama and all the supposed cutbacks, now we have to hitch a ride with the Soviets every time they launch a missile, or a rocket, I should say, not a missile, to go up to the space station, the International Space Station. So we have to hitch a ride, but it's not a freebie. We have to pay $60 million. $60 million every single time we send somebody up there. Now, that's per person. So if two people go, $120 million, because we and our great leadership decided to cancel our space program. Well, now with all the tensions in the Ukraine and all the tensions between Vladimir and Barack, we have been told by the Russian diplomat, go use a trampoline if you want to launch your next astronaut. And we're paying that kind of money, $60 million per astronaut? How absolutely ridiculous. And what a waste, just to give them a check, the Ruskies a check, to send that astronaut up to the space station. What a waste that could be going into our own program. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. I want to talk about Benghazi in just a minute, and boy, is the dirt ever coming off that hole. It's going to get a lot worse in the next couple of days. Penetron Soil Conditioner by Maisie, with a 20-year proven record of increasing yield and quality of all Idaho crops, speeding germination, reducing crusting, improving stand, stimulating root growth, and, I love this one, microbial activity. And it helps build soil structure too. And it saves irrigation water. As a matter of fact, the water savings alone will pay for the cost of the product. Yes, it will. Penetron by Maisie absolutely will help larger crop yields, better quality. You better contact your fertilizer dealer and crop advisor today. Get the original Penetron Soil Conditioner by Maisie. There you go. All right, give us a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There is absolutely an evil that is twisted and torn right now in the story about Benghazi and the administration trying to weave a very lying and sinister story for the rest of us to swallow. What a despicable little weasel Jay Carney was yesterday at the press conference with his dark rim glasses and his just weaselly attitude in answering questions. An ABC reporter literally had him on the ropes regarding the lies and the innuendos and the half-truths of what happened with Benghazi, and also the emails that are starting to come out of the woodwork now. They're starting to come out of the woodwork, and they're finding copies of emails that absolutely are very intimidating and incriminating against this government and President Obama. This administration looks like they have lied and covered up the fact that Al-Qaeda was in charge of the Benghazi attack, and it wasn't just a video put out against Muslims that started this whole mess. And you know, Obama did this for a reason. Obama wanted to diminish Al-Qaeda for a particular reason at that juncture of the campaign, so he would look a lot better. But now, he's looking like what he really is: a liar, a fraud, and a charlatan, as is his entire administration. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
I'm not too bad. How are you, sir?
Oh, I can't believe what I'm hearing from Jay Carney. It's amazing how this administration can lie and then lie about lies and then lie about lies, and nobody calls them out on it.
Well, I wouldn't say that nobody is a good phrase there, Doug, because there's people like myself and many others that are conservative that are very worried about what's going on. We'll try to call them out, but we're not being listened to.
that's the way it should be. Yeah, but I can't believe it. I mean, you let any other president, whether Democrat, Independent, or whatever, his race was different than what we have right now, there would be up in arms. I mean, people would be, going after him. But like they're so afraid of we're going after him that you're considered a racist, so that, and they've used that term racist so much that it doesn't mean anything now. It's just like aspirin.
Well, here's the deal. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or an Einstein to understand what happened here. Had they come out and said that, oh my goodness, it was an Al-Qaeda attack, and had the president stayed where he should have in Washington, D.C., directing the investigative reporting, if you will, of what happened in Benghazi. But no, think about all the facts of this story. Obama left and went to Las Vegas for a campaign fundraiser. They did all they could, they being the administration, to minimize what happened over in Benghazi and say it was just an impromptu bunch of thugs and it was all on account of a anti-Muslim video. Al-Qaeda's on the wane. We don't have to worry about them. But see, by minimizing and lying and covering up just to get Obama reelected and everybody thinking he was really forceful, now that it's all coming back, even though it's a day late and a dollar short, everybody's realizing what a lying, absolutely destitute of any moral fabric administration this is.
Very true. They have no conscience. Their end justifies the means, so they're do anything and everything to get their agenda through.
It's going to be interesting, Doug. Doug, it's going to be really interesting, and I'm almost out of time here. I got a hard break, but I want you to respond to this. If Hillary Clinton runs for president, and again, I know that it's almost a done deal, but she hasn't officially announced, can you imagine if the Republicans had any backbone at all? And people like Boehner and the rest of them really went like attack dogs to find out why she made such frivolously stupid comments like, what difference does it make? They could really run her completely out of her campaign for president. This whole thing stinks from the top down. Obama, Hillary, everybody else, and it should be brought to light.
It should be. If Hillary runs, John McCain could win against Hillary right now.
Well,
John McCain, because John McCain couldn't win anything.
I've got to kind of mull that over a little bit, Doug. Hey, God bless you for your call. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
All right, buddy. Hey, don't forget you're invited to a meet and greet hosted by District 27 legislators, Speaker Scott Bedke, Senator Dean Cameron, and Representative Fred Wood. All of this for Governor Butch Otter and Lieutenant Governor Brad Little. They're going to be at Sweetheart Manor, 217 South Highway 27 in Burley on Thursday night, May 8th. Coming up next week, you better believe it, 6 to 9 p.m. Hors d'oeuvres and refreshments and a lot of nice people. Don't miss it. Next Thursday, May 8th. Right now, I believe we're going to go to the phone lines, and we have with us the one, the only, Jim McCall. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Well, good morning, Zeb. Doing well.
Well, I knew the lovely Gina would have you on the phone, and we're ready to go. So what is going on at Travelube Supply? What's your special for today?
Zeb, I've got tools. I bought an estate. A fellow passed away, and I bought all the tools they had. I have 2 pickup loads. I've got toolboxes. I have just anything you can imagine. So if you guys are needing tools of any kind, give me a call. I'll bet I got it, and we can set you up.
Holy cow. So you definitely have tools for every need, every project. You've got 2 pickup loads. Holy buckets, you've got tools.
Yep, I have wood tools. There's some mechanic tools, sockets and end wrenches, a couple of circular saws, jigsaws, just anything you might think of. We've got it over there, and just give us a call, and we can. If you got something in particular you're looking for, let us know and let you know whether or not we got it. Otherwise, come over, take a look, and browse through everything.
All right, and you've got filters.
Ask.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Jim. Go ahead.
If you don't see it laying there, ask. It's probably stuck in a corner somewhere. I got so much of it in my shop. It's getting buried.
All right. Jim McCall, Travel Lube Supply, and all the oils, all the tools, filter cleaning, and bolts, metric and standard bolt bins. It's all there. Travel Lube Supply, 1050 West 203 south of Hayburn, 438-8730. And right now, a whole bunch of tools. Jim, God bless you, man. Have a great day, and we'll send everybody over to you.
Thanks, Seb. Don't forget we still have some trees left, too.
All right, we'll tell you.
431-1666, and I can let you know on the trees.
All right, Jim. Thank you very much. 431-1666. He's got trees, beautiful pine trees over there. You give him a call. Travel Lube Supply, Jim McCall. Thanks, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Capital Press Ag Minute, and the Capital Press Ag Minute is brought to you by our friends at Lennox Home Comfort Systems, gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps through our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Here now, the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
At least 25 states in the U.S. are considering legislation to mandate labeling for foods from genetically engineered plants or animals consuming GE feed. The Council of Agricultural Science and Technology says there is no science-based reason to single out GE foods and feeds for mandatory labeling. Wide-ranging evidence shows that GE technology is equally safe to conventional breeding. In a report issued this week, it says mandatory labeling abandons the traditional U.S. practice of providing for consumer food preferences through voluntary product differentiation and labeling. Market-driven voluntary labeling measures provide consumers with non-GE choices. With the Capital Press Ag Minute, this is Hannah Brose.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and CapitalPress.com.
Oh, good morning, and thank you very much to Lennox Home Comfort Systems through Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Hey, by the way, Mom's Day is just around the corner. Yes, it is, and May 11th is Mother's Day, and the Drift Inn at 545 F Street in Rupert says, come on, make your reservations for Mother's Day. They're going to have special hours, 11 to 3 on May 11th, with delicious specials, including prime rib, finger steaks, butterfly shrimp, chicken cordon bleu, and it's going to be delicious. The Drift Inn in Rupert for Mother's Day. Also, the Book Plaza, 222 West 11th Street in Burley with Colonel Dale and the crew. They've got some excellent gift-giving ideas for Mom, all the books, all the poetry books, just all kinds of precious moments and other figurines, all there for your mom at the Book Plaza, 222 West 11th Street in Burley. You stop in and see them today. And last but not least, how about our friends at the Goodie Shop? Oh my goodness, they've got so many delicious items for your special mom and her special day. Treat your mom to a goodie basket, build your own, or select one that's already done. And the Mother's Day mugs can be filled with candy kisses and brownie treats. I love it. You will too. The Goodie Shop, 133 West Main in Burley. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there in the audience. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. Oh boy, Gina's going to yell. I forgot the tip of the coffee cup this morning. Gina, are you right there? We're going to have a tip of the coffee cup. Are you ready with that big slurp?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
That is so good.
There you go, the tip of the coffee. You know, that sounds worse every time I listen to it. A tip of the coffee.
I wanted it.
I know I am. What are you in such a bad mood for this morning?
It's just going to be one of those days. I can just feel it already.
I can tell you, though, you and I ought to just handle each other with kid gloves. Yes, Ms. Jameson. How are you this morning, Ms. Jameson?
I am doing well, Mr. Zeb Bell.
Oh, let's drop that garbage.
I know, really. Okay, so
Okay.
just give us who's the tip of the coffee cup today?
Okay, we got a bunch of them. We've got Fred and Joyce Preston. We've got Dorothy Silcox.
Okay.
We've got Betty Register and Paula Bagnell. And guess who's having an anniversary on Saturday?
Who?
George and Donna Mass.
Happy anniversary.
So a tip of the coffee cup to all those people, and we hope they have a wonderful day. Okay?
We got a phone call for you.
All right, I'll take you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Can you remember when you were young, let's say, like 10 years old, something like that, and you did something wrong, or you didn't want to admit to it?
Yeah.
You fabricated a story to, get yourself out of the fix, but it kept getting deeper and deeper?
Well, that only went one time, and I can remember I came home and storied my dad a little bit about what had happened at school with my teacher, Mrs. Kiltz, and it lasted for about maybe till the next morning, and then my teacher called my mother, and then my dad came home that afternoon and found out that I had created a falsehood and a story, and my life was over as I knew it.
Well, when something like that happens, it just goes on and on until it comes to a head. I'll quickly tell you a story about when I was a young man, 12, 13, something like that. We used to have milk cows, and we had a route in town where we delivered milk to people, and we also sold to the creamery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I had school activities I needed to go to and everything, I didn't quite do as good a job of milking as I should have. And so the bucket wasn't quite full. So it was more convenient to put water in there.
Uh-oh.
And go from there. Well, one day the creamery called my dad and said, "There's something wrong. Your butterfat count is way, way down." My dad asked me, "Oh, no, wasn't me."
Uh-huh.
But anyway, to make a long story short,
please,
I finally had to come clean, and when I did, my dad made me go around to all of these people that we sold milk to and make a personal apology.
Oh, boy, you learned a lot from that, didn't you?
Yeah, and I've learned this coined phrase for years and years now, and it says, if you always tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said.
There you go. There you go. And I'll tell you, I think you're making a relationship here between what happens now with this administration and the evil, twisted story about Benghazi, and also possibly very much entertaining into the IRS scandal and Fast and Furious. I mean, they have lied to us, and now things are starting to unravel. Keith, there's one thing real quick I want you to respond to, and I'm noticing this more every day, that other parts of the media, the ABCs, NBCs, CBSs, etc., are starting to jump on board right now and start acting like journalists and asking good questions, finally.
They have to, or they'll lose all credibility.
I agree. I agree. Always good to hear from you, my dear friend. Thank you so much for your call. Have a good day. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Menzel is running for Minidoka County Sheriff, and he wants your vote for Sheriff of Minidoka County on May 20th. As your sheriff, Ken Menzel will enforce the law based on respect for individual rights and a commitment to safety of each citizen, and maintain high ethical and performance standards for himself and the entire staff. This man, highly qualified with degrees from BYU and also detective undercover narcotics officer, patrol officer. He knows the business, and he wants your vote. Ken Menzel for Minidoka County Sheriff on May 20th. Paid for by Elaine Stevenson, Treasurer. And also, I want to remind you that Scott Bedke, Speaker of the House, District 27 Representative, says vote in the primary election May 20th. Scott is very concerned for Idaho and its growth and prosperity, and he's concerned about the future of the United States of America, and he wants you to exercise your patriotic duty and vote on May 20th. Stand up and let your voice be heard. Scott Bedke, Speaker of the House, District 27 Representative, says please go vote on May 20th. Paid for by Representative Scott Bedke of Oakley, District 27. Big day coming up. Big day coming up. And we're talking about the primaries. We certainly want you to get out and vote. Don't you dare sit there and say, well, I don't want to. That was too much work. I was so tired. I played golf all morning, and I just didn't have the ambition or whatever. And by the way, too, I know somebody else that wants you to come on in because they're looking for a good mechanic. 3 mechanics in 3 different locations. So if you're a mechanic and you know your way around tools and how to fix things, you better get a hold of Barry Equipment and Rental. That's right. Not only do they have equipment to rent and buy, like the Coyote tractors. Holy smokes, they got Coyote tractors all over the place. And all the Doosan loaders and excavators, all the equipment you're needing for whatever job, it's there at Barry Equipment and Rental. But they are looking for some really good mechanics at each location. Competitive pay, good benefits, fun place to work. Apply at any location. You can stop into Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, or South Lincoln in Jerome, or that new location at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. I'm telling you, these folks are good people. Barry Equipment and Rental. You stop in and see them today. All right, it's time to get some calls in here right now. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, the one thing that needs to be done, and I want to ask you this. Do you think it will be done? There needs to be an investigative committee right now. And I don't want this politics garbage. I don't want anybody saying, well, we can't do this. It might come back to haunt us. I want some teeth in the leadership of John Boehner and the GOP to get an appointed investigative committee right now and go after any and all facts regarding the Benghazi scandal, regarding the IRS scandal, regarding the Fast and Furious scandal. The list goes on. But, you know, this good old boy syndrome, and I was listening to somebody the other night on television, I can't remember the name. They were talking about the cronyism that's going on back in Washington, to the point where they'll argue like the Dickens on the floor of the Senate or the House, and then at 5 o'clock go out and have a beer together. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want friends in the Senate and in the House. I don't want them to reach across the aisle and say, hey, what time is it? Well, it's 4:45. Well, in 15 minutes, let's go down to Joe's Bar and Grill and have a beer together. No. I want people that are going to go back there. Maybe you disagree with this. I want people that are going to go back there representing us, the constituents. I want them to go back to Washington, and I want them to fight for us here in Idaho. Fight for our water. Fight for our economy. Fight for energy. Fight for what we need here. And I don't care about the cronyism. I don't care if they have any friends. I just want them to go back and be representatives of us. And this cronyism and the Good Old Boys Network and all that garbage, which it is, in my opinion, can go out the window. I hear these people say, well, they've got to reach across the aisle. Well, they've got to be friends. Well, we've all got to get along. No, we don't. No, we don't. And I don't want them to. Do you really? Do you want them to kind of reach across over to the Dick Durbins and the Mitch or the Chuck Schumers and all these people on the left, and you want them to say, well, we'll bend a little bit here, you bend here, and we'll kind of cover up this when we make up the bill, and we'll include this. Oh, we're good old boys. We'll scratch your back if you scratch ours. No, I don't want that anymore. I want them as representatives and senators to go back with a junkyard dog attitude, fight, claw, scratch, everything for us, not for them. Time for a weather forecast, and the weather this hour is brought to you by Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 382 North Overland in Burley. Minor emergencies, major care. The doctor will see you now, not in 4 or 5 days. You'll get taken care of now. You bet, for like infections and headaches and breaks and sprains and strains and cuts and rashes and sore throats and everything. Now you'll get taken care of. Minor emergency, major care now at Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 382 North Overland in Burley. Number to put on the refrigerator, 678-6996. Here now, Michael Rogers Weather.
Hi, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got summer weather all the way through the weekend with the daytime high starting out today at 75 and A daytime high of Saturday, 84. It's going to be nice and hot. Nice weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael. Brought to you by Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center, 382 North Overland in Burley. The doctor will see you now. Hey, by the way, too, don't forget gas furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps, all of this and more for your comfort through Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. You call them today, 678-0459. Okay, your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Thanks for being right on time.
Hey, Zeb, when you have people contesting races like Brian Smith against Simpson, these men realize that they are vulnerable and they go back with if they get reelected, they go back with a new sense of appreciation of their constituents, because obviously they haven't been doing it in the past. And so that's a good thing, and this is happening across this nation. And, as much as some people might want to discount the Tea Party, I'm going to tell you, it is affecting change across this nation, and it's for the better. Hey, I got a stat for you.
Okay.
The other day I was talking to Rita and Ramsey, and we were talking about something, and she was telling me about something that happened up at the Madison School District, which includes Rexburg and Rigby. Mm-hmm. And in the 11th grade class in one of the schools up in that district, there's 350 11th graders, and you have to take the SBAC, the Smarter Balance Assessment. And what's happening up there is Dr. Thomas, was the only superintendent in the state that was against Common Core. The rest of them went along with it. But whatever's happening out there is interesting. And 350 of these 11th graders, 70 of them only took the Smarter Balance test. 70.
Yeah.
The rest opted out and says, kids are not taking it. We're done. We're through with this. You're not going to make our kids take this test. And so this kind of thing is occurring across the state. Up in 9 school districts up in Boise said that this test, this Smart SBAC test, was so intrusive. A third grader has to sit down for 9 sittings for 7 hours and take this test.
Wow.
And the parents and the teachers are just saying, we're done. You're not doing this to our children. And then they don't even get the score back till next year.
Wow. Well, listen, I'll tell you, I have a lot of things on my plate for the next couple of weeks on this program, and doing some segments with some national people back in Indiana and other sources on Common Core is one of the things we have on our plate, and we're going to really get into this. Randy, thank you so much for your call as always. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, one more thing. There's about 14 states that are literally opting out of this thing. It's changing course. Common Core is headed south, I believe.
We will see what we will see. And by the way, I'm glad you brought up the Tea Party, because I'm going to have a little story about that right now. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate your call.
Thank you.
All right. Now listen to this. This is a despicable old fool. Oh, my goodness. Who's he talking about? I'm talking about Charlie Rangel. Oh, by the way, don't anybody call up and call me a racist or anything because I called Charlie Rangel a despicable old fool. He gained the title of being a despicable old fool because of his verbiage. You know what he said yesterday, and it's just so absolutely ridiculous. It's so uneducated, and it's so completely out of the ballpark. He compared the Tea Party again to extreme negativity. Here's what he said. He said that the Tea Party doesn't believe that the Union won the Civil War. And then he goes on and he starts comparing all Tea Party members with Confederate backers and all waving a Confederate flag. And he just showed with these kind of comments how stupid and out of touch he is, Charlie Rangel. And he's so absurd and totally irresponsible. And Alan West, former representative from Florida, summed it up best about Charlie Rangel. And it's the truth. He said, quote, "He's stuck on stupid." And that sums it up. And that seems to be the liberal left in general. When they come to talk about the Tea Party, when they come to talk about how they are running their party, how they are absolutely all idiots and everything else. And then he said something so frivolously stupid yesterday that the Tea Party doesn't believe the Union won the Civil War. Now, how can you say something basically that stupid? Well, you can if you're Charlie Rangel. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. Love to hear what your thoughts are. By the way, too, I want to say to the Cache County Fair Board, thank you. I'm going to get a little emotional about this. 33 years I announced that fair and rodeo. And thanks to Todd Powers and other members of the Fair Board, thank you for your kindness. They gave me a beautiful belt buckle for my 33 years of announcing that rodeo. And I am in a semi-retirement mode, and I wasn't sure about how the leg and the surgery were going to act this next summer, and so retired from that event. And they were very, very kind. And Commissioner Dennis Crane was also there, a very dear friend of mine. And I just want to say thank you. That was very, very nice. And by the way, Gina, would you please, when you see our lovely newscaster, would you tell her how nice that was to put that on the news? I appreciate that.
I will let Janan know, and you've got a phone call.
All right. And by the way, I've never met her.
Janan, she is usually up in the Jerome studio. She doesn't come down here.
Really? And so if she walked up and kind of said, "Hi, Zeb, I'm Janan," I wouldn't have a clue what she looks like. So.
Exactly. So get onto the Facebook page, and you can actually see her.
I appreciate that. And you, of course, I appreciate all your remarks. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. How are you?
Well, Tony, I'll tell you, I'm just fit as a fiddle, somewhat. Go ahead.
Good. This deal by Charlie Rangel, he's the one that said that the Tea Party is a bunch of racist guys.
Yeah.
All this kind of baloney. I haven't heard too much of an outcry about that one actor that played in the movies with a bunch of white people, and he said, how'd you enjoy that part that you had in the movie? He says, well, I enjoy killing white people.
Well, we talked about that yesterday. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday on my program and revolved to the reverse racism that's going on. And Jamie Foxx didn't have any retribution against him basically whatsoever for his very, very sinister and rude comments. And reverse racism in this country is accepted. But boy, if a white guy would have said something that despicable, I'll guarantee you, my dear friend Tony, that they would have taken his Screen Actors Guild card away and he would never work another movie again.
Oh, they'd be rioting out in the streets if it ever happened the other way. And, Charlie Rangel can't say too much because he's had major problems with the IRS, and he's still walking the streets.
Well, Charlie Rangel has a lot of problems anyway, and we could go into those for a long time. Tony, I got another call, and I got a commercial. God bless you and Mary. Thank you.
It's time for him to go.
All right, it is. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Nice man right there. Tony and Mary in Twin Falls. Love them. Really good folks. Hey, by the way, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Hold on a second. I dropped my paper on the floor, and we got to go pick it up. There we go. Best tire value promise in the industry. Free peace of mind tire protection, whatever the road throws at you, from potholes to nails. If your tire is damaged from any road hazard, they'll replace the value of your tire. I'm telling you, these folks really care. They've got the best in front end alignment, shocks and struts, and of course batteries. Brake service is absolutely phenomenal. All the tires you need for summer driving, it's all there. And you can stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy the old Seahawk fan on Overland and Burley. The best your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
They hung up.
Well, I'm sorry.
Apologize to me.
I'm sorry, Miss Jameson. Boy, I tell you what, I feel a little ice coming down the microphone. Who said it's going to be a day close to 70? It's dang chilly in here.
75, actually. It's going to be beautiful.
Maybe outside, but it's cold. No, come on now. I didn't mean to sound caustic.
Oh, that's okay. No,
Okay.
they hung up a while ago.
Well, gee, give me a little break, folks. I mean, I got to pay the bills, and I'd love to have you on the program, so give me a call back at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. So what's going on in your world, dear?
Nothing.
Oh. For some reason, I get the feeling that trying to pull information out of you this morning is going to be like going in with a pair of pliers and pulling out a good tooth.
Bingo. Okay, now we've got a phone call for you.
Okay, thanks. Good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You will always be my favorite rodeo announcer. That's because I always look forward to listening to you every year. Your banner between you and good old Randy.
Well,
and you sorely missed.
I appreciate that, and it will be missed. And your comments are very kind. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, did you find your Jeep?
He just hung up.
Oh, you know, that's becoming a pattern.
I'm not sure if he actually found his Jeep or not. I know that he put up a post on Facebook and everything, but I don't know if Riley actually found his Jeep.
Okay. Nothing worse than losing a Jeep.
I know it.
I haven't had that occasion, so I don't really know.
I've lost many things, but not that. So.
You don't want to lose that black car you've got. I'll tell you what now, I'm thinking seriously about leasing that from you.
Oh, really? Well, let me put a new fuel pump in it first, and then we'll get it going.
And I'll lease it, and then I just want to cruise. I just want to act like I'm 16, 17 again, and I want to go up and down the street just at 5 miles an hour.
Uh-huh. Yeah, 5 miles an hour. So do I need to get extra insurance?
I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got a quick phone call.
All right, quick call, 30 seconds. Good morning, you're on the air.
Sorry, Zeb, my phone hung up on you. No, I didn't find my Jeep. And, well, it's not all there is to it. We can keep looking, hoping, and praying.
All right, well, we'll keep mentioning it. Red Jeep's gone someplace. Look for a red Jeep. Here a Jeep, there a Jeep, everywhere a Jeep. We'll give you a call if we hear anything, Riley. Thanks, buddy. I got to run.
I appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
To the Comanche County Sheriff's Department, Facebook has really been a lot of help. So thanks to all those who have been...
All right, Riley. Thank you much. I've got the newscast coming up next from ABC, and we'll be back with a full plate of items. Don't go away, Zeb at the Ranch. Earplugs back in when I did because I was enjoying the day, watching the birds. Got a weird-looking bird out here, for Pete's sakes. It's all kinds of different colors. And I, quite frankly, was ready to forget all about the rest of the program. Thank you for playing the music for me. It jogged me back to reality. Good morning. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, along with some of our great advertisers that include Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at, Ramsey Heating and Electric, and they're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Hey, by the way, when you think about life insurance, you always should think about Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens, dedicated and responsive to your needs. Health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. Why? People know that's the place to go for very professional, courteous service. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, 436-4424. Very nice people. You know, also, want to tell you, too, about our dear friend Joel Heward and his staff at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. You know, it's a family place, really working and serving you. That's right. Working for you, serving you and your family in a time of need. When there's the passing of a loved one, well, they can help with all the arrangements. You don't have to go to them. They will come to you. That's right. They can travel to rural towns and churches and give you the attention necessary. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, the number to call for folks that always uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. Oh my, we've got a lot of things cooking today, and right now let's head on down to the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce and the lovely Kay Cameron. Good morning.
Good morning, and a beautiful day it is.
I'll bet you that, honestly, you are ready to move your chair out through the door, onto the sidewalk, overlooking the river, talking to the ducks, enjoying the day.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it will be one of those days that we open up all the doors, the front doors and the back doors, and just let the fresh air in and enjoy the fresh air and the sound of the kids in the playground across the way at the elementary school and the kids that come to play on the walking trail, and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Have you ever had a duck walk in the door?
Well, it didn't walk in the door, but somebody did bring a duck in our office once.
Really?
It was injured, and so I guess if you have an injured duck, you bring it to the Chamber of Commerce.
And what did you do?
Interesting things here. We contacted the Fish and Game.
Okay. Well, now that is interesting. I was being facetious, but you actually had a duck drop in, huh?
No, I've actually thought we should really be writing down the stories, and we see a lot of interesting things, a lot of interesting people, and it's a lot of fun. You never know from day to day what's going to happen here.
Well, how did your ladies' seminar go?
It was fabulous. I unfortunately was unable to attend. I was not well that day, but I heard it was fabulous and everybody had a great time.
Well, good. So now that that's over, I'm sure you're sitting at your desk with mounds of paper ready for the next event. What is it?
Well, I do have mounds of paper, but, our next event is our golf scramble. It's a big fundraiser for the Chamber. And, we're almost all set with that. So, we're pretty good. There certainly is still always more work to be done. But, no, we're just kind of gearing up for, everything else that we've got going on. We do a lot of things. We don't just have women's seminars and golf scrambles and those types of things and deal with tourists, which we do this time of year. We really start to see a lot more people that come into our office, but we're involved in a lot of things. Our ad committee meets monthly, and this next month we're very excited that we will be hearing from Snake River farmers about immigration issues and the H-2A program and some of that stuff that really does affect our area farms and the impact that it can have. And I'll tell you one thing that we are certainly paying close attention to are the water issues, because it really does have a big effect on our entire community. And so we do follow those issues closely and pay attention to what's going on, because it all ties in together into our local economy. And so we're very busy doing a lot of various different things. It's not just some of the things that you might always hear me talk about on the radio.
I would imagine, too, that, and it's got to be a little difficult sometimes to find just the right personalities that work at the Chamber, because, man, you've got to be smiling all the time, you've got to be helpful all the time, and right now, getting into travel season, everybody has to have a smile on their face.
Absolutely, but I do have to say I have a great team here at the Chamber office. We've got some great, I've got great team members here, great staff, and they are very friendly and very happy. But I'll tell you, it is not hard to have a smile on your face and help the tourists that come in, because people, when they travel, they're traveling, and who doesn't have a good time when they're traveling? I can probably count on my hand, on one hand, the number of times we've had grouchy travelers that come in, and usually it's because it's a couple that's arguing over directions. But, people they're curious, and they want to know, and so it's fun, because we get to share with them about all of the great things here in our community, but not just our community, but this great state of Idaho, because a lot of times they are coming from out of the state, and maybe this is just a rest stop, or they're getting information for next time they come back, or maybe they are spending time here, but they're fun, they're having a good time, and they want to know. I mean, just think about the times when you go and you travel and you want to learn about the places that you go, and you're asking questions and you're inquisitive, and it's the same thing here, and so it's very fun because we get to help them all the time.
All right, Kay Cameron at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, and tell us, please, all the many ways people can get a hold of the Chamber.
Come by and see us. We are located at 1177 7th Street on the beautiful Snake River, but please leave the ducks down by the river. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us on the internet at minicashiachamber.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Kay, always appreciate having you on the air. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the sunshine, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Will do. You too.
Thank you. Kay Cameron at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Really nice people. Hold on, I'm going to cough. All done. There you go. Hey, by the way, you're invited to a meet and greet hosted by District 27 legislators, Speaker Scott Bedke and Senator Dean Cameron and Representative Fred Wood, as they have Governor Butch Otter there and Lieutenant Governor Brad Little. All of this is going to be held at Sweetheart Manor, 217 South Highway 27 in Burley, and it's going to be next Thursday, May 8th from 6 to 9. Be there. Hors d'oeuvres, refreshments, really nice people, a great evening. You're invited to a meet and greet at Sweetheart Manor next Thursday, May 8th. Don't you miss it. Really good folks. We're going to go with our next guest in just a moment. But I also want to remind you, I've got a very efficient way of categorizing all my commercials, I thought, until all the ink ran off these little tabs I put on the paper. That's not good. Hey, Senator Dean Cameron, running unopposed for Senator in District 27, is a voice of influence, a voice of caring, a voice for getting things done for the state of Idaho and you. And it's been proven. That's the voice of Senator Dean Cameron. We really do appreciate him, and Senator Dean Cameron urges you to do your patriotic duty and vote on May 20th. Yes, Dean is the second highest ranking member of the Senate and has been a senator for 24 years. He likes to hear your ideas, opinions, and recommendations, so don't forget to vote on May 20th. And this has been paid for by our dear friend, Idaho Senator Dean Cameron. Thank you. Well, it is time for gardening, and it's time for the lovely Miss Vicki at Vicky's Country Gardens. And, of course, Vicky's Country Gardens, located at 185 South, 600 West of Paul, Idaho. The number to call, 438-5663. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with a garden trowel in one hand and a bag of seeds in the other, here's Vicki.
Good morning, Dad.
Is that all you can say for that outstanding introduction?
Well, I was thinking, and I didn't quite click in time. It's been a tough morning so far.
Well,
but anyway, it's a beautiful spring morning. What can we say?
Well, it is, and it looks...
The sun's shining, the wind's not blowing, it's not raining, it's not hailing.
And it looks like, I was just going to say, we got a little delay here this morning on the mics, but it looks like it's going to be fantastic weather. It's going to get warmer. We're talking about maybe approaching 80 degrees. Holy buckets, what should we do with our gardens?
Plant.
Okay.
Ready to go with everything. I'd be a little skeptical on tomatoes and peppers if you don't have walls of water or some good cover for them. But everything else can pretty much, you can get started. I mean, plant for the spuds. You can get, within the next week or so, you can get the corn in. Beans should be able to go in the next week, 10 days. All of that good stuff. So, yeah, it's just time to get ready. Cabbage could be in right now. Can be going right now.
All right.
Cabbage and the onions and the broccoli and the cauliflower and all those kind of plants or seeds or whatever can be going in right now. They love the cold weather.
Okay.
So perennials, I mean, it's a great time to get fruit trees in. It's a good time to get berries, raspberries, strawberries, all that kind of stuff in so they can get seasoned in and settled in before we hit 90 degrees.
Okay, Vicki, what about flowers? What about like the pansies and all those kind of flowers?
The pansies and stuff, they love it. This is their time. This is their time to bloom. I mean, they love this weather. They love the cool sunshine, so you can put them out. If you've got sunny flower beds, you can put them in there, and then in a few weeks you can put them in a shadier spot, move them to a shady spot, and put your petunias in. Petunias, people are asking, can we put our petunias and our geraniums out yet? And it's like, well, you can, but you got to understand if it gets below 28 degrees, they're going to get damaged.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got cover for them or you've got a protected area, you'll probably be all right. But just kind of watch the weatherman, and if it looks like it's going to get like that, throw some cover over them or something to that effect. But they can handle down to about 28 degrees before they start getting some damage on them.
All right. Now,
the pansies, it can go down to 15 degrees, and they're happy low tempers. It don't bother them.
Okay. Many of the questions that we had sent in to us for this week's program, most of them pertain to fertilizing the garden. How much and what type? And I'm not going to add any opinion to this. You're the expert. What kind of fertilization and how much?
Well, you want to use a good garden fertilizer on your gardens and that. And that's not the same as lawn fertilizer. Lawn fertilizer is high nitrogen because you want it to grow and stay green. On the garden fertilizers, you've got three numbers across the front of your fertilizer that we've talked about before. First one's nitrogen, middle one is phosphate, third one is potassium and trace minerals. So you want that middle number, the phosphate, higher than the other two.
Okay.
At least equal, if not higher, because phosphate is what makes your plants grow really good. It builds roots, and it also is the one that sets on your fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So you want like 11, 15, 11, or something to that effect to go into your gardens with. We have one that's a Fertilome Gardener Special that's 11, 15, 11, and it's been working real good for folks. And then you can come back in. You can come back in a little bit later, and about July or something to that effect, and side dress a little bit and give it a little boost with fertilizer, so that when they start setting on the fruits and vegetables, they've got a good dose of fertilizer going on them.
Okay.
You don't want to. If you're using Miracle Grow, that's fine. You got to wait for your plants to get up because that's a foliar feed basically, and you want to. Basically, on Miracle Grow, if you're going to use it in your garden, you're going to want to use that at least once a week because it's a very mild and it washes off with any irrigation.
Okay.
So it's kind of a quick fix. But you can use that and use it about once a week. Not once a month, but once a week at least.
Okay. Now, quickly, we had some other questions, and here's one that I don't think I've ever asked you before. A lady wrote in and she said, when I go buy garden seed, how do I know that I'm getting the best of that particular variety? I don't know how to answer that one at all.
Well, that's a tough one because, I mean, you buy, when they put these garden seeds on 10 for $1 and that, so this is my opinion only, I feel that is old seed. I think it's probably seed that, that they can put it out at that price and they're just getting rid of it. Some of them are off-brand. Stay with your name brand seeds. We do the bulk seeds here, and I bring them in every spring. I know what and if I'm in doubt, I germinate them myself to make sure they're going to be a 90% germ or higher. But some of these off-brands that you buy, you just don't know. I mean, it's everybody's guess at that point in time. You plant them, they don't come up, they probably didn't have any germination left in them. So it's best to stay with your reputable companies on seed, or like I say, we do the bulk seed here, so I know what the dates are on it. I know it's fresh seed, so that's the safer way. But try to stay away from the bargains. You usually get what you pay for. That's what I figured out.
Okay. Now, finally, I want to wrap things up by saying Mother's Day is right around the corner. It's coming up on May 11th, and you've got a lot of baskets for Mom, don't you? Tell us about some of the Mother's Day gifts.
We have beautiful baskets right now for Mom. All colors. We still got a good selection, so get in and get them figured out now. We just got in some really cute new yard art for the lawns, for the yards and stuff like that. It's in the metal, the colored, the kind of whimsical, different little things, real cute things like that. We've got lots of nice fountains. We've got if some people can't grow flowers, we got some really cute little metal flowers you can put in your flower beds that are just really unique and different, make a real cute gift. We've got planters, gift certificates. The gift certificates are a real good gift for moms and grandmas. They really enjoy it. They can come pick out what they want. They can buy anything they want, and they don't expire. So that's a real good thing for people to think about. But we do custom planters, but we need to know early. We need to know, like, now if we're going to do that. But we've got just all kinds. We've got trellises. We've got metal trellises, metal benches for the yard. We've just got about everything we need for a gift item.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the lovely Miss Vicki at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Number to call, 438-5663. A program named after me, Gardening for Idiots, and I learn something new every week. Vicki, God bless you, and have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
That'll work, Seth. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good one. I really like that lady. Known her for a long time, and she knows all about gardening and plants, and you be sure and give her a call if you have questions. 438-5663, Vicki at Vicky's Country Garden. Holy cow, we got to run here. I want to remind you, too, about Let's Ride. This is where the fun is sold. Oh, yeah, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Get on your ATV and enjoy. We are this weekend, I'll tell you what, with the beautiful weather. Yeah, they've got the Can-Am side-by-sides over there. Really great deals, rebates, and great financing. And they've got dirt bikes, 0% financing for 5 years. And their service department is the best you'll ever find. They work on our ATVs, and they're always so personable and so helpful. Let's ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Yep, it is where the fun is sold. Really nice people. Holy cow. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway? They're all over the place. We got a dachshund over there. We got an English wolfhound over here, and then over here in the other corner saying, here, doggy, is Officer Ken Moore. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
You know, I said that, and I wasn't sure if you were there or not. So how's Officer Ken Moore on this Thursday morning?
Doing great. Today we want to feature Sebastian. He is a yellow lab border collie cross. He's tan and white, approximately 1 to 2 years old. He's real timid and at first around people, but once he gets to know people, he really loves being around them. Annette, he's not that great on a leash, but he's getting better. Annette, he was an owner surrender. Unfortunately, he likes to kill sheep, but he's good with other livestock. He's good with other dogs. Just looking for somebody and stuff, Annette, to give him some tender love and care. And if anybody's interested in him or any of the other fun-loving furry friends that we've got over there, they can contact us at 438-2200 or 670-7268.
You know, what I like about you and the way you handle this program, Dog Nation, is you're so upfront and honest and tell everybody about the pros and the cons of the personality, the dog that you studied and everything. How do you know so much about these dogs?
Basically just being around them on a daily basis. You learn a lot of things about them. I mean, I've only had this one in there since Saturday. And, I mean, just in a matter of the few days that we've had him in there, I mean, you can really start telling a dog's personality and what they're going to be like. And, I mean, we try to make sure that we've got as much information to give everybody about a dog as we possibly can.
You know, let me ask you this, Ken, and I certainly am not trying to sound negative when I ask this, but I'm sure that there are dogs that after being around them for a couple of days, you can't possibly recommend for anything.
I've had a couple that were like that. I mean, they came in, Annette, being somewhat of aggressive and everything, and then the longer they were in there, the more aggressive they'd gotten, and that. But we've had rescues that have turned around and pulled them out of there, got them into a bigger area, and that with trainers and stuff like that, and have actually got them turned around and were able to find them good homes.
I know this is kind of hard for as long as you've done this and everything, but what stories come to mind, the most heartwarming short story of a dog that you really got sold on his personality or her personality, and she really changed and she was one of the most lovable? Have you got one that comes to mind?
Actually, I do. It was one that we'd gotten in. It was an owner surrender. She was a little bull terrier type dog, still a pup. We'd had her in there for a couple of days, and she actually bit me, and I had to have some stitches and stuff and that over my eye because it startled her, and she got me pretty good. But I mean, turned around and was working with her. She became a real fun-loving dog, and matter of fact, I seen a picture of her with her new family, and her and a 4-year-old were cuddled up and taking a nap together.
Oh, boy.
And she is by that little 4-year-old's side almost constantly.
Oh, my. So in many cases, I think you'd agree with this statement. All they need is a little love.
Doesn't care.
There you go. Hey, by the way, speaking of needs, what do you need real quick over there at the animal shelter? You still looking for stuff?
Oh, yeah. We're always in need of towels, bedding, dog food, dog treats, collars, leashes. I mean, anything that will help us with giving our furry friends Annette some little extra care, Annette, is greatly appreciated.
Now, you're over at the main studio right now doing this, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Be careful. I think Gina and I are having bad days, so you want to walk softly and carry a cinnamon roll.
I wish I'd have known that before I came in here. I'd have brought a cinnamon roll in.
Okay.
A cinnamon roll would be great right now.
Yeah, that's the only way we're going to stay on the good side of her is food. Remember that. Food. Always food.
Always food.
Okay. Ken Mort, God bless you. Minidoka Animal Control. And the number they can call if they want to talk to you about dogs?
438-2200 or 670-7268.
All right. See you next Thursday, Ken. Thanks.
You too, Zeb.
God bless. Who let these dogs out anyway? Minidoka Animal Control with a dear friend of ours, Officer Ken Mort. Thank you so much. And you know, like I said, a lot of those dogs, almost 99%, all they need is just a little love. Hey, don't forget Lennox Home Comfort Systems, whether it's gas furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps, whatever. All this through our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call is 678-0459. We are going to go right now to our phone lines, and we have a lovely lady ready to go. Rita Ramsey, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm real good. How are you, besides wishing you had some different kind of luck going for you?
Well, I'll tell you what. I just want to get outside. I want to absorb some more of this sunshine, and sunshine makes everybody feel better. You know that?
It definitely is good therapy.
Without the wind.
Yeah.
Okay. Rita, what in the world? I'm seeing some frayed cuffs. Some of the threads are coming undone on the Obama administration suit. Some of the emails are coming home to roost. Some of the lies and innuendos that Jay Carney was perpetrating are starting to blow up like an omelet in his face. What's happening here?
Well, you know how your mom used to say, you can lie to us, but one of these days it'll surface. I guess this is what's happening.
Are you at all shocked as to what's happening and how it's happening? I have said for a long time that Benghazi is a situation that I, as an American, want to know why those 4 Americans were left to fend for themselves and eventually get killed in that terror attack. I wanted to know more about the Muslims. I wanted to know more about Al-Qaeda. And all of a sudden, it seems like our president was involved in a cover-up. Was he not?
He was, and I know that I had mentioned this several times because I had heard it and heard some evidence that, you know, sounded pretty close to the surface of this before, is that they were running guns to the Libyans, the freedom fighters, to overthrow Gaddafi, and when he got in that circumstance that they did, it was kind of like, well, okay, we just won't pay attention, and then at least our evidence is gone. Oh. And I just think that it was like, well, we'll let him take the fall for us, and he's the one who knew all the information. The ambassador for Libya, you know, that was killed.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Chris
Stevenson, wasn't it?
whatever his name was.
Chris Stevenson, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, anyway, it was Chris something.
Yeah.
I can't remember his last name right off the hand. But he knew what was going on. That was where he had a strong point. He had a knowledge of what needed to be done there. And I think when things started to go south, it was kind of like, well, hopefully all the damning evidence will be destroyed. And so, yeah, I think it was a cover-up over there as well as covering their heinies over here, that it wouldn't be shown, especially because it was about election time, and then they figured that by making up some lies, they could just fend off everybody, and they did. The news media basically gave them a pass. The rest of us that were wanting to know questions about it were told you're just idiots and leave us alone, and that's the way that it went.
Okay, but now let's fast forward this right now to today and what needs to be done today. I've heard a lot of people say yesterday and last evening, and I made some phone calls early this morning, that right now is an absolute must for John Boehner and other GOP members to really forget politics, forget cronyism, forget all of that garbage, and do their job. And Boehner needs to appoint a investigative committee to go in here and really look at this thing. But there are people that are saying he's going to possibly pass because he doesn't want to ripple the water. What are your thoughts?
I think if he has any fortitude at all, that they will actually do what needs to be done, which is calling a independent counsel and getting to the bottom of it. All the facts are there. We've seen the facts. We've heard the facts. We know about the emails. I saw a documentary that was done last night that shows all of the facts about the Libyans and the gun running and everything. So people have that information. It's not like they're going to have to hunt for it.
What are your thoughts about the overall kind of cronyism, I'll go back to that word again, that's happening in the Potomac circles of whether it's the Republican or the Democrats, everybody trying to go out after 5 o'clock and have a beer together, be the best buds. You know something? I'm hearing reports from various people that I work with some of the think tanks on the East Coast, whether it's in New York or Washington, and boy, I'm telling you, it's getting worse every day. The cronyism, the politics, the under-the-table attitude. I think that I would like to see absolute fighting, if you will, between the two parties so they'll stand up for their constituents. Am I wrong?
No, I think they should be, because right now it's just one big party, and they're having the party on us, and they're just bleeding us dry, and we're just swallowing it. It needs to be a big house cleaning taking place back there, and Boehner could start it. He obviously, with his little mocking thing that he did last week or the week before about the other Republicans who don't want to take on immigration, and because it hurts so bad. Well, he's just saying, hey, you know what? They just don't want to join with us, and we want to join with the Democrats and everybody and just do what they want to do. And because I'm sure they're getting pressure from some of the businesses, or I can't believe that they really think that they'll pick up a voting bloc if they go along with immigration.
This immigration reform, and I'm going to come right out and tell you my thoughts, and I want to see if you agree or disagree. Frosty and I basically are on the same page. I think that we ought to have, number one, secure the borders. And I mean secure the borders to the point where it is a warning shot and then shoot to kill, to the point where we don't know who's coming across the border and we don't know for what purpose. And no other country in the world is going to put up with the porous border situation that we do here. Secondarily, we don't have the infrastructure, and by that I mean not only the living or the housing or whatever. We don't have the welfare, we don't have the jobs, etc., for an unlimited supply. And I'll maintain that we need to have a quota system of 150,000 legal-only immigrants per year until we get our economy back in shape. Do you agree or disagree with me?
Well, I think that's true, and I would add a couple of things to that. First of all, we do need a reformed immigration system, but we need to know who's coming here. And so the first thing that you do is you shut off the borders. You start taking inventory of who's coming and that they have reason to be here and that they're legal. And then second of all, you have to start clamping down on those who are hiring them, because the ones who actually hire the people who come, like migrant workers, I've talked to a couple of farmers, and my daughter lives next door to a farmer up in Rexburg, and the hoops that they have to go through just to make sure that their migrant help is here, and they're here legally. They have to go and pick them up. They have to treat them better than you and I get treated, and make sure that their housing and everything is just right up to par. I mean, they are regulated so horribly to get them here and get them here legally. And then there's those that just whoever comes across will hire you up, and it doesn't really matter. And I think that it's just so unfair, because the ones who are trying to go by the rules are really, really, strapped and can't do anything, and then the others just do it and it doesn't matter, and they're getting the buy on it. And so I think that they need to do that. I went to that debate between Congressman Simpson and Brian Smith, who's the challenger for Congressman Simpson, last Friday night. One of the questions was on immigration, and while Congressman Simpson said, well, we need to do a few things, but if you really think that we've got a border up there and it's just not working, and how are you going to get the people here to work for the farmers or the dairies who need people year round? You've just got, in other words, he was saying we just have to give them a pass. Mm-hmm. And Brian Smith came back with the deal of, you know what? If the water's on in your bathtub and it's flooding over, you don't run and get a mop bucket and some towels and start mopping it up. You turn off the faucet first. And that's where we have to start. And that's what we need to do, is start by turning off the faucet, which is closing the borders and then taking inventory. And then some of this stuff that they want to give, I heard a while back that, the military, they said, well, if some of these who are here illegally wanted to actually sign up with the military and work in the military, that they would be given amnesty. Well, the amnesty that they're given is that their whole family can be here legally, not just them, too. So they're just doing all kinds of stupid stuff instead of being practical about it. If the government would just be practical, we'd have a chance at making this work for those who need the workers and protecting our own American interests.
Yeah, but there again, it goes back to the word I used a little bit ago. It's the cronyism. Hey, I'll scratch my back if you scratch mine, and we'll get this bill under the table. We'll add about 37 different amendments to it, some of which have nothing to do with immigration. We'll load it with pork. Rita, I'm so fed up with this. They're not representing you and I. They're not listening to you and I. They're doing it their way.
That's absolutely right, and it's happening in every single government. It's happening in Washington, it's happening in Boise, and it's happening in our counties, and we just need to make sure that we start making some changes in those places where we can see they need to be made, instead of just sitting back saying, well, I guess I just don't have a choice.
All right, caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, and of course, the U.S. Constitution, Article 4, Section 4 says our federal government is to protect us against invasion. But, Rita, I'd like you to comment. There's been a lot in fact, there's a editorial on Page Today, a lady from American Falls making fun of those of us that want to repeal the 17th Amendment, which, of course, was the 17th Amendment was did away with it provided for the direct election of senators. So, Rita, the states' rights situation used to be that the state legislature would elect the senators, and so that hasn't been happening for a long, long time, and we can see the big money just buys those Senate rates. I'd like you to make comment about the 17th Amendment and why it's important that we repeal that.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Appreciate that. Have a great day. Rita, go ahead, please.
Well, the importance of repealing the 17th Amendment, and I know people make fun of us, and we actually had a forum a couple of years ago where we invited all of our representatives and senators for the Minnecaja area, and they came, and the question was, and we had a fellow do a presentation about the 17th Amendment and repealing it, and what the 17th Amendment is, so that we were all educated and we all knew about it. And every single one of the representatives and senators, and we had 7 of them there, said, oh, I couldn't dare, I just couldn't possibly take your voting right away from you to vote for your own senator. That is just beyond the pale. Well, the deal is that the senators end up spending 2/3 to 3/4 of their term campaigning and pulling in money instead of doing the people's business. If they were to be elected like the founders had originally intended, they would be appointed by our legislatures in every state. They would answer to those legislators. We wouldn't have all of this money and all these lobbyists because it wouldn't matter, because if they didn't vote in Idaho's best interest, the legislators would invite them to go home and they would appoint someone else to go and do that. And that is why it needs to be done. The big problem is those of us who think that we need some changes or we need some things done, or if things are not working, we're up against the wall here. We're just a bunch of wacko birds, as some senators have called us, and we have no right to do that. But you know what? It all comes down to one thing, and this was going to be part of what I wanted to mention today, is that people have to become informed. The days of people just sitting back and electing somebody to go and do the business in Boise or in Washington are past us. We've got to find out what they're doing, why they're not doing certain things, and how come they're doing other things, and make sure that we're informed about it and we talk to our neighbors about it, because they've just pulled the wool over our eyes and they think they have carte blanche to just do whatever they want to do. And if we elect them, they can do whatever they want to do. But they need to answer back to us, and if we elect people who we have to give an accounting to us, it's a whole different story. But people just think that because we're learning a little bit about what's going on in these government realms and we're asking for change, that we're just a bunch of idiots. What we are is we're trying to save our country, because we all know that it cannot continue on this path and stay afloat. We're in big trouble, and people need to get educated and learn about it and get active and start spreading the word.
Absolutely well said. Rita, stand by just for a moment. I've got a weather forecast to take care of, and the weather this hour is brought to everybody. Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Purchase a firearm from Red's Trading Post and receive training bucks for both LMS Defense and Shaw Shooting to use in their rifle and pistol training courses. These are excellent courses. All the guns, all the ammo, all the accessories, and really good people at Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Here now, Michael Rogers Weather.
Hi, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got summer weather all the way through the weekend, with a daytime high starting out today at 75 and a daytime high of Saturday 84. It's going to be nice and hot. Nice weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
MichaelRogersWeather.com, brought to you this hour by Red's Trading Post in Twin Falls, 733-3546. Rita, did you hear the absolutely despicable old fool remarks by Charlie Rangel saying that the Tea Party in general doesn't believe the Union won the Civil War?
That guy needs to be put out of his misery and sent back home to convalesce in his neighborhood instead of being a public voice. It's absolutely pathetic. Everybody knows that what he was saying, and even people who kind of support him know that what he said was way beyond the pale. He knows that Americans are not racist, but they just try to do it to get people up and going. And it's absolutely pathetic of what he said. And one point that was kind of made on O'Reilly last night, I'm sure that you watched it, Jesse Waters went to Harlem. Mm-hmm. And he asked a bunch of people, you know, if Americans are racist, you know, is that the big thing around here? And he said that most of the people that he talked to, and I didn't see a single one that said Americans are racist. He said, well, they always treat me good. And one of them said, man, I'm going to college. I'm living the American dream. Nobody's ever done anything with me. And so it was kind of like, well, if you go to where there's a concentrated amount of black people or minorities, which are actually not minorities anymore, if you go and you start asking them, the majority of them say, you know what, we don't get treated that way. And it's just these people, the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons and and of course Charlie Rangel type of people that are just trying to race bait. Now, I know that this was talked about a lot, and it's just totally despicable, this deal with the Mr. Sterling, the basketball owner, and everything. You know, he was levied a fine of, I think it was $2.5 million or something like that. They said that that money is going to go to, and they didn't actually say the groups, but when the type of group they said, I pictured that money is going to go to the Jesse Jacksons and to the Al Sharptons, those people who are interested in collecting money, and the way that they do it is by saying they're racist, they're racist, they're racist, and they get the money and off they go to their special interests and do whatever they want. And I think that's absolutely horrible that they would give the money to groups like that who are the ones who are actually causing it.
I'm going to say this, and if it incites somebody or is a little incendiary, then that's fine, because that's what I want to have people think. It's the mode of today, and I want to see if you agree with me. It's the mode of today that any time a white Caucasian person says something that is going to be out of the norm or can be construed as racist, they being the entirety of our population and the news media, they're going to go after that person and literally bury him, as they are doing now with Mr. Sterling over a private conversation, his right of free speech in his own home. But the reverse discrimination and racism is never challenged. I will give you a viewpoint on that. Jamie Foxx was in a movie not too many months ago, Django Unchained, and when asked on The Tonight Show how he liked that part in the movie, he made the statement he loved the part in the movie because he had a chance to go and kill white people. Now, if the reverse were true and a white person had said that, you know as well as I do, Rita, it would be all over.
Oh, yeah, it only runs one direction. And by the way, this is what really just bugs me, is that we're supposed to have the freedom of speech where we can say anything that we want to say. What happened to that? It only applies to those who want to say somebody's racist, and they can call somebody a racist for saying something or believing something or whatever, and it's just pathetic that we don't stand up and say, you know what, the same goes for you. If you're going to take so-and-so out because they said this, then maybe you need to go out. In other words, let the free market do its things. If there's somebody that's really racist and people are doing business with them and people don't like it and they find out that they're racist, then they'll stop doing it. But to levy fines and to call in, you know, you've got to sell your business and do everything else. And I'm not sure what the NBA rules are in this, you know, when they signed up to be an NBA franchise holder, but there's probably some rules that say that he can't continue on if they don't meet a certain standard, and maybe that's part of the standard. I don't know. But just like Paula Deen, you know, they just totally wanted to ruin her. She's on the comeback, but they just totally tried to ruin her because 30-some years ago, when she was in the middle of a robbery and there was a black person pointing his gun in her face, she went home and told her husband what had happened. I mean, she had to have been rattled, and she had to answer that question, and all of a sudden she's a racist.
Rita, one thing I said yesterday, and I had a long dissertation about Mr. Sterling and the Los Angeles Clippers and this situation, and I will stand behind my statements, is that if this tape was an alleged felony because it was taken without his regard and his knowledge in the privacy of his home, and that's used against him to run him out of business, run him away from and sell that NBA team and destroy him, yes, what he said was despicable. There's absolutely no protection for his remarks in this society. But they were taken in his home in a private conversation, and it was a felonious activity to tape him without his knowledge, and he's losing everything. If we go ahead and prosecute under those auspices, you, me, your husband, everybody, in the privacy of a private conversation in your home, anybody is going to be fair game from now on.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And the other thing is, and I listened to some of those tapes, and you know what? That guy did not sound like he was coherent. He could have either been drunk or drugged or something. he did not sound like he was coherent. You know, just some of the things he'd say. Now, what is it you said? I told you once I don't want to talk about it. And she'd just keep baiting him more and more and more. And I just kept thinking, you know what? She's either drugged him or maybe he's partially drunk or something, and she's just taping him to the nth degree because she's going to use it against him. And I feel like that's really what happened. Now, shame on him for getting himself into a certain situation like that and then saying the things that he did, because they must have been mostly in his heart. But it's really sad when somebody can do that and bring up that tape and say this is just the way he feels all the time, and there not be some repercussions, because we all are on notice that no matter what we say, and I'm starting to wonder if it's even what we think, without even saying it, that we can be prosecuted.
Absolutely. Rita, quickly, I'm almost out of time. What's going on with the Tea Party?
Well, on Tuesday at 3:30 at Zions Bank here in Burley, Brian Smith is coming for just a real fast greet. I have yard signs for politicians, and anyone who wants to come and pick some up and put in their yard or on the highway or wherever they want to, they're welcome to come and do that. And then 1 week from tonight, we're having our Tea Party meeting, and it will be the sheriff's candidates for Minidoka County. And then we have a split meeting. It's not going to last the whole time for the sheriff's candidates. And then the rest of it is that we've got some business that we need to take care of regarding local political stuff, state stuff, and just making sure that we're getting our bases covered and have people knowledgeable about the candidates and what's going on and what the issues are.
All right. Rita Ramsey, have a great day and a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Sal.
Thank you. Take care. Wonderful lady, Rita Ramsey. I always look forward to having her on our program. Thank you very much. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, I looked out the window, and it's nice and sunny, and what a great day, honestly, to go on a picnic for the new year. Yeah, enjoying the outside. Well, maybe on that picnic you can stop in to Taco Bandito if you're hungry and starving to death at 2301 Overland in Burley, and get a southern baked burrito, either soft shell or grilled shell, chicken or steak. Oh, made just the way Kip knows how to make it, and that is delicious, along with a Bandito burrito and Mexican pizza and chicken strip basket and all the goodies, newly remodeled inside for your convenience, or take it to go and enjoy the great outside. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. How about we stop over to Burgers, Etc., 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes. Hamburgers, cheeseburgers, all kinds of taco salads and desserts, ice cream. It's delicious. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner special. You're going to love Burgers, Etc. in Rupert and Burley. You stop in and see them today. How about we go to Steve-O's? Oh, my goodness sakes. Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Food made the way you like it. And their French fries were voted the best French fries in the Mini-Cache area. My goodness. Fresh hand-cut, either steak fries or regular fries. You're going to love it. And they've got that pork chops and salad and choice of potatoes. Steve-O's is going to be closed on Mother's Day, so you better get in there Friday and Saturday evenings. Great time to take Mom out for supper at Steve-O's over in Hayburn. Hey, how about Duck Uglies? I love this name. Duck Ugly, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley, next to Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh, my goodness, they've got a fantastic menu, and they're going to be open from Mother's Day 11 to 7 on May 11th, and Daniel is featuring a prime rib dinner with all the trimmings for just $15.95. It's going to be fantabulous at Duck Uglies, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. Don't forget, all the time, anytime, great meals at Duck Uglies. Duck Uglies. There you go. And last but not least, in our continuing search to find great places to go eat, we talk about the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, they've got the kids' baskets, and they've got the combo meals, and they got a 3-piece fish and chips with small fry for only $7.25. Famous Farmer Brown burgers, ranch burgers, oh my, and they can make any kind of milkshake that you want. And don't forget to stop in at the AC Drive-In. Open 11 a.m., close at 9, closed on Sundays. Don't forget, it's a great place, the AC Drive-In in Burley on 601 East Main. And those are some great places to go eat when you're hungry and starving to death. Well, hello, Ms. Jameson.
Yes, I'm hungry and starving to death.
Well, I'll tell you what. Next week I'm going to send you over a little care package.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Yeah, it'll be good. Hey, by the way, Gina, don't forget everybody's invited to a meet and greet hosted by District 27 legislators, Speaker Scott Bedke, Senator Dean Cameron, Representative Fred Wood, for Governor Butch Otter and Lieutenant Governor Brad Little at the Sweetheart Manor, 217 South Highway 27 in Burley, next Thursday, May 8th, from 6 to 9. There'll be hors d'oeuvres, good ones too, and refreshments provided, and a lot of nice people at that meet and greet next Thursday, May 8th. I hope you're there.
Are you going to go?
I hope to shout.
Okay, well, I will see you there then.
All right. Hey, thanks. We're going to take a little break. I'm going to sit back and rest and recline. We'll be back in 6 minutes. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch. Thank you, Janan, and welcome back. Hour number 3, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course, we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our dear friends, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Oberlin in Burley. We're going to talk to them in just a few seconds. And then, of course, also our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Hey, don't forget, great things are happening at the Chadwick, 139 West Main in Burley. Oh, today they've got a special Greek pita. Ooh, this sounds so good. With choice of French fries or tater tots and super salad for just $8.95. A Greek pita with all the trimmings. Going to be good. Always is at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in, enjoy the food, enjoy the service, enjoy just great eating at the Chadwick. Right now, let's go to the phone lines. And this is always scary to me because I have no clue who's going to be on the show week by week. Right now, we're going to go down to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley and talk to a very nice person. Good morning, nice person.
Hi, Zeb. Brent here with you. Good to be with you today.
And the way things have been going lately, I would have never picked you because you've been gone.
Oh, I've been here. We just have such great employees who are just clamoring and volunteering for this opportunity.
Well, I'll guarantee it's good to hear your voice. My goodness sakes, what's happening at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more?
Oh, we've got some great specials throughout the store, but let's talk about those things that are free today, really free. You hear that statement, there's no free lunch, but we do have some goodies I think that everybody would be interested in.
Okay.
We have in our dining room department right now a great selection, whether it be for maybe the small 5-piece set or that larger dining room 7-piece, 9-piece grouping. Come in and take advantage of our very best sale prices and get a free 16-piece dinnerware set. And these are absolutely gorgeous in some beautiful colors. We've got them in greens and blues and cocoa and those colors, and you get your plates and your cups and even placemats, and they really top off that dining room set. That's free 16-piece dinnerware set with any purchase of a dining room group right here at Lee's Furniture.
Keep also, tantalizing right us.
Now, just put into place in time for our Mother's Day sale and for this spring sale that we have coming up. Special financing up to 15 months, so 0 down and 0 interest for 15 months. And that makes a wonderful difference when making a purchase for your home.
Absolutely. And what about all the carpet? You know, with all the things happening in the homes and people are saying, oh, my goodness, we just absolutely need new carpet. Now's the time to check it out.
It sure is. Perfect time of the year. And I'm glad you brought that up because we have, again, the largest selection of Smart Strand carpet that we've ever had here in the store, and price points. We made some special roll purchases. We have Smart Strand starting at just $8.95 a square yard, outstanding price point. That has the great same stain resistant as our silk line, has great heat set twist in the yarn, great performance. We've got it at $8.95, $10.95, $12.95. So we have a stair step of great pricing there. And as you know, we have put that carpet to the test right out there on your ranch.
And you know something? I am a firm believer. It works, and that is some of the best carpeting you'll ever see. And when you cleaned it, you could never tell it had laid in the corral for over 3 weeks.
And you're exactly right, and we've still got our sample to prove it. We've got the pictures, and we put it to test in many other ways. So it's truly a carpet that your family can live on and enjoy.
Brett, what else is happening? What are the hours over there at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More?
We're here from 9 till 6, Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturdays, and always closed on Sundays.
And all they have to do is just look for you carrying your putter and 9-iron around the store, right?
That's exactly right. I'm here, and come take advantage of some wonderful savings. As we've talked about in all departments, our Simmons mattresses, we've got great values on in our mattress department. And in fact, if someone will come in, take a test rest, and if they'll make a purchase on one of those sets, we'll give them one of those wonderful memory foam My Pillows like you sleep with every night.
Absolutely. The best people and all the best in furniture and carpet is right there at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, 459 Overland in Burley. Brett, God bless. Good to hear from you again.
Sure, good to visit with you, and we appreciate everyone out there in our listening audience.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Brett Lee at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Thank you. Hey, don't forget, Lee Hyder, Senator for District 24, the best always stand the test. Idaho Senator Lee Hyder is one of the best. His diligent perseverance to author the Right to Hunt and Fish and Trap Amendment serves Idahoans for future generations. Don't forget to vote May 20th for a man that's devoted to Idaho and serving you, Lee Hyder, Senator for District 24, paid for by Lee Hyder for Senate District number 24. Really good guy. Well, it is time for School Days in Cassia County. And School Days in Cassia County is brought to you by two really wonderful businesses, A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley. And I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on there. Ladies, they have dresses. They have all kinds of dresses for spring and summer wear. And along with all the Mother's and Father's Day gifts. That's right. Both those great big holidays are coming up. And gift wrapping is always free at A Child's World. Check out everything for the family, everything for the new baby, everything right there for you at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also, our other sponsor is Ambulatory Surgery Center, where life-saving colonoscopies are performed by a board-certified doctor and save you hundreds of dollars. Don't forget, outpatient surgeries are performed there at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Ambulatory Surgery Center, along with A Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. With us this morning on School Days in Cassia County, we have a teacher at Cassia High School, and we'd like to say good morning to Jeannie Allen. Jeannie, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the program, and I want to make sure I say the name right. Is it Jean or Jeannie? I want to make sure I say it right. Which one is it?
Jeannie.
Jeannie, all right. Jeannie, let me ask you this. I understand you're also the district social studies coordinator for Cassia County School District. What does that mean, social studies coordinator?
It means that as a district, all of our social studies teachers work on our curriculum together. And so we meet several times a year and plan our curriculum, have common end-of-course tests, and I coordinate all of that.
Okay.
Teachers with standards, with curriculum, with our end-of-course testing.
All right.
And other professional development. And so that social studies would include government, economics, global studies, geography, U.S. history, and any of the elective history classes that we offer, which are numerous throughout the district.
You know, I was just going to ask you, the terminology social studies, and when you adopt a textbook for social studies, what things are you looking for as far as what that textbook and what that teaching should incur?
We are looking for something that fits with our district units of instruction that we've developed. We're looking for something that's accurate, that has updated information, that has fonts that students can read, that is grade appropriate, all of those things. And another thing that we're looking for this time, we've had a lot of parents interested in the online resources available to students at home, so they don't have to carry books back and forth, and they can have access to a textbook online anywhere they go. Okay.
You made the statement, Jeannie, about accurate and updated info, and I would submit to you, and you already know this, I'm sure, that a lot of the textbooks today are not accurate and are not with information that really is truthful. How do you go through each and every page and discern that this is the book that you really want to be taught from?
Well, actually, with the textbooks that we're looking at right now, in a lot of our areas, we're looking at just updated as far as they have the last 10, 12 years of events in them. But a lot of the textbooks that we're looking at are actually the same textbooks that we are currently using that just don't have things like the last two presidents and updates to the Supreme Court and that type of updated information. And we've been using them. We've designed our district curriculum around them, so we know what's in there.
Okay. And
Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, kind of, but I just want to pursue it just a little bit further. I know history books, for instance. A lot of the history has been whitewashed, sanitized, changed, whatever, to be politically correct. And this is what I'm wary of, and this is what I've said on my program many, many times, that schools and people like yourself need to be very, very cautious about what is being written, what's being taught, and the subject matter, because I think a lot of it has been changed to be PC, politically correct. Would you agree or disagree?
Right. That is definitely something that we are considering. And we actually, this time around, we are not just taking the publisher's word for it. And we are doing our own standards analysis and going through them to make sure they fit our curriculum for our district specifically. So we are taking a closer look at them this time than we probably ever have in the past. And granted, it's been, I think, 12 years since we've adopted new social studies textbooks.
Now, when you say it's been 12 years since you've adopted or changed the social studies textbooks, boy, you have to go through yourself personally or your board and read every single page to meet the criteria that you think it should be as far as teaching?
We have a committee that we put together that includes teachers from every school in the district that's looking at adoption, and we've also invited school board members and parents to be a part of that. In fact, we had several parents here a couple weeks ago going through some of the books and giving us their input on them. And, you know, in the short amount of time that we have to do this, we don't go through every single page, but we do go through them quite carefully.
You know, are you surprised, Jeannie, of the changes and some of the different verbiage from when, and I know I'm a lot older than you are, but I mean even from when you were in school, have you noticed big changes?
I haven't noticed big changes in the textbooks that we use in Cassia County. Mm-hmm. And in fact, like, for example, the government book that we use in Cassia County is still the same publisher and the same basic content as the government book when I was in high school.
I see. Are we getting to a point, Jeannie, that textbooks per se are becoming obsolete and perhaps everything is going to be done online? I tend to think that would be a bad thing in the future. What are your thoughts about more and more being online, on the internet, through the computer, via not having a textbook right in front of you? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't personally think that textbooks are ever going to be obsolete, but I love a good book too, so that's my opinion. I think that we still have to teach students to read, And not every student today has access to online and digital resources. I think there are a lot of very valuable digital resources out there for students, but they have to be taught how to go through those and decide what is a good, valid source, and they have to learn how to read for bias and make sure that they know what is accurate and what is not by checking several sources and validating what they're reading.
Okay. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you is, when I was in high school, I'll never forget this. I absolutely hated the geography class. I hated the economics class. I didn't like anything to do with the government class. And as it turned out in my later years, those are the classes that I need the most for the type of job I'm in now, because I discuss those things every day. What about the students today? Are they interested at all in geography and the rest of this?
Well, I think that depends on the student, and there are some students that are definitely going to be more interested than others because students haven't changed that much since you and I went to school. But also, I think that with the global studies class that we teach now, that we've had in our district for several years, I think that has really helped students become more interested in finding out about the world around them. I know personally from my classes that I teach here, and I do teach all of them, global studies, economics, government, U.S. history. And we spend a lot of time on current events and what's going on in the world around us, and that tends to make them a lot more interested in looking at the past history, figuring out why these things are happening today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would like to think that they're more interested, but I don't know that I can say that for every single student.
Well, I know that I was watching a kind of a Water's World Man on the Street interview the other day, as a matter of fact, and they were talking about different places around the globe, and here were adults, 25 to 30 years of age, that didn't have a clue where even some of our states were located. And so I think this is great to have geography and everything else taught in the school system. And we have a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller, quickly, please. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. You said global studies. When I hear that, I always cringe because maybe we're teaching these children how to be a citizen of the world and not a citizen of the United States. And so, I would like to think that we're teaching these children about the Constitution and capital free market system, because that's what funds the schools, and not something else. And I'll hang up. Thanks.
That's a good point, Jeannie. What about our Constitution and the values of our capitalistic society? Are those really stressed?
We absolutely teach that, and we teach that not only in our global studies class. And so if I can back up and explain the global studies real quick, our global studies is kind of a combination of geography and history and current events, so they can pull it all together and see why things are happening in the world that are happening today. But we definitely spend time in the global studies class on the U.S. Constitution and the founding of our country and the free enterprise system, as well as teaching them about other ones around the world. But we definitely cover the Constitution in our U.S. history classes, in our government classes. It's part of the economics class. It really, it's a foundation for everything. So it is being taught.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for coming on the program. A teacher from Acacia High School, and she's also the district social studies coordinator, Jeannie Allen. Thank you so much for coming on the show this morning on behalf of School Days in Acacia County, and please come back again in the future. We'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, and we appreciate her being on the program this morning. And, of course, School Days in Acacia County brought to you, everybody, by A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley and the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. By the way, we've got another caller in just a minute, but right now I want to remind you, Fred Wood, our representative running unopposed for representative in District 27. Fred is the chairman of the Health and Welfare Committee and on the Resources and Environment Committee, and also a member of the Fish and Game Commission. This man has just absolutely devoted himself to helping all of us here in Magic Valley, and he will always listen and work for the people of District 27 and protect Idaho's water and create a positive economic environment. Fred wants everybody to go vote on May 20th in the primary. Show that you care and are willing to take charge of your future, paid for by Representative Fred Wood for House Seat District 27. Caller, good morning. I think I heard somebody ring in. Are you there?
It's Dale.
Yeah, okay, well, good. That's who I was hoping it would be. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Colonel Dale Whipple. And Colonel Dale, there's a big event going on this weekend. Quickly tell us about what's happening over at Declo.
Oh, we're having our special farm day for the handicapped or special needs children tomorrow from 10 to 3, and it's open to the public. And we'll be given wagon rides, and we have a lot of exhibits, and we hope everybody comes.
All right. Now, Dale, tell us exactly where this is going to take place and the starting times, would you please?
You bet. It's at the Ray Bagby Pioneer Farm, 1 mile east and a quarter mile south. From the center depot, just go 1 mile east and turn right, and you'll see it. And it starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
All right. Now, is there any charge to get in?
Oh, no, it's free for all the children and free for all the adults.
And tell us a little bit about Ray's Farm out there. I mean, man, that's kind of a historical walk back in time, isn't it?
Oh, it is. We have 6 buildings out there. We have a working blacksmith, Pioneer blacksmith shop, and it is filled with, well over 100 Pioneer tools. And in that shop, people out there can make almost any kind of a wagon, and Ray is a master blacksmith, and he's also a carriage maker, and he's presently about halfway through in making a Wells Fargo stagecoach from scratch. And you just look at the work he does. It's a master craftsman, the work he does. And we have other buildings out there. We have a carriage shop. We have a general store, a saloon, and we have corrals and bunkhouses, and we have an arena, and we have old-time farm equipment of buggies and carriages, and this year we're featuring a Cinderella coach, all painted in white, and it's just beautiful.
Dale, why is it so important to you on behalf of the Pioneer Farm and the National Pioneer Hall of Fame? Why is history so important to you?
We believe with all our hearts in our wonderful United States of America. And we have the flagship Liberty, and we have the Freedom Gallery at the Book Plaza in Burley with the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, and many other historical pictures and documents. We are Americans, and we're proud to say that to anybody that'll listen.
Well, now, the Pioneer Hall of Fame, and you've put so much love and blood, sweat, and tears into the Pioneer Hall of Fame, and again, stress the fact that this is going to take people back into the days of the Old West as to how our pioneers lived, how they made a living, how they transported themselves from one point to another. Tell us again the starting times and everything, the location, etc., that they can go and enjoy this weekend.
Yes, it starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow. It's both tomorrow and Saturday. It's 1 mile east of Declo and then a little ways south. So just go 1 mile east and turn right. You can't miss it. And it is free, and our special guests are special needs children.
Absolutely. Colonel Dale, always, you are one of the greatest men I've ever met. I appreciate your friendship, and we'll send everybody over there. Thank you for coming on the program and telling us.
Thank you, Zeb.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
That is going to be a lot of fun this weekend. Pioneer Farm Days at Ray Bagby's farm, a little bit east and a little bit south of Declo. Everybody try to be there, and it is free. We are going to take a break in just a moment and send it back to our main studios, but I want to remind you Mother's Day is right around the corner. Don't forget Burley Glass at 1029 Oberlin and Burley. The number to call, Gentle Ben and the rest of the folks, 678-1459. They can give you an estimate and do the work, and it's going to be fantastic putting new windows in your home. Get rid of those old drafty windows. Get the tight windows, the vinyl windows. Get the best windows. Call Burley Glass and get a bid today from Gentle Ben and the crew, Burley Glass in Burley on Overland. And also K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, located 1 mile north of exit 208 on the Burley-Paul Highway. They've got all your tools that you need to get your property in shape and looking good. Hey, let me tell you, what a great weekend weather-wise to go and stop at K&R Rental and get the absolute necessities that you need to fix up the garden garden, clean up the house, around the house, everything at K&R Rental. Hayburn, 678-3122. We'll send it back over to our main studios and be back in just a moment. Don't you go away.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, thank you very much. We're going to have Christine Pickup on the air with us in just a moment, and she's an audiologist. We're going to talk about hearing. May is Hearing Month. We're going to talk about that momentarily. But right now, Gina, if you don't mind, I think what we'll do is go ahead and have our weather forecast, and it's brought to everybody with MichaelRogersWeather.com by Scarro's Meats. They've been in the area for over 20 years, offering quality products at reasonable rates with their expert meat cutting, and they also have their own smokehouse. It is delicious. Selling taste one bite at a time. Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Here now, Michael Rogers Weather.
Hi, everybody. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Got summer weather all the way through the weekend with a daytime high starting out at 75 and a daytime high of Saturday 84. It's going to be nice and hot. Nice weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you very much to our dear friends at Scarro's Meats. Don and the rest of the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. Selling taste one bite at a time. Scarro's Meats. Real quick, I want to also remind you, I've got to get these in real fast. Today is the Idaho Gives campaign, and please, everybody go to Idaho Gives campaign and check it out on the website, and it's a very important day for all the charity giving throughout the state of Idaho. Also, the Veteran Motorcycle Club is proud to sponsor the second annual ride, Veterans Ride, coming up this weekend, May 3rd. Ride begins at Duck Uglies on Highway 30 in Burley. Proceeds donated to the Rupert POW MIA Scholarship Fund. And also tonight, the Minidoka County Republican Meet the Candidate Night, held at the Wilson Theater tonight at 7 p.m. Don't you miss it. Woo! All that done and accomplished. And right now, let's say good morning to Christine Pickup. Good morning, Christine. How are you?
I'm great, Zed. How are you?
I'm running a little bit late, but we're running. And you are an audiologist, and that is a hearing healthcare provider. And you've been in the area since about 2006, and now I understand you're going to be opening up your own healthcare practice. Are people as cognizant and aware of hearing as they should be?
Absolutely not. That's one of the big problems, is just knowing the signs of hearing loss and knowing what to look for.
All right. Now, do you care to share some of that with us this morning? I'm 66 years old, and I'm getting to be an old fogey. What kind of signs should I be alerted to?
Well, first, do you feel like people are mumbling? Is something that usually they're not, but there's a hearing loss that might be happening that makes it feel like, you hear them talking, but you just can't quite tell what they're saying. That's a sign of hearing loss. Another one is having trouble in the presence of background noise. You hear fine when it's one-on-one, but when there's multiple speakers, you have a hard time hearing what the conversation's about. Those are two things that are good giveaways.
Okay. Now, when you've been married as many years as I have, I'm sure that there is a combination of both mumbling and hearing loss.
Yes. That's true.
So sometimes, isn't it a good idea? Seriously, I'm not making fun of this, but I'm being honest. Wouldn't it be great for a husband and wife when they want to go take a hearing test? Maybe they both should go in the same room. You could listen to how low she talks, whether she mumbles, and then you can tell the guy whether he can't hear or not.
Well, actually, I always recommend that people bring their significant other with them when they come for a hearing test first. Then everybody's on the same page, because we can talk about the frustrations they have, things that they're struggling with, and make sure that they know what the other person's experiencing. And then we just discuss the results. They're there, and we can talk about what the implications are, and then talk about treatment options.
Okay. Now, what about children, little children? Is it hard to come up with a hearing test so that you can really find out whether they have a lack of hearing or not? How do you do that?
Well, with itty-bitties, there's a special test that they do in the hospital called otoacoustic emissions, and they can do that test when the baby's sleeping and quiet. And then as they get a little bit older, we have other testing materials that we can use. There's auditory brainstem response testing that actually measures the brain waves going up to the brain. make sure that they can hear that way. And once a child is verbal and likes to do tasks, we can do a play audiometry, which is really fun to do.
Okay, now, May, according to the sheet that you sent me, is Better Speech and Hearing Month. What do you hope to accomplish, not only being an audiologist, but during the month of May? What do you want people to know?
Well, I'd love for them to go to the website. It's identifythesigns.com and learn about speech, language, and hearing disorders. One of the biggest barriers to treatment is people just don't know what to look for. And there's more than I could talk about right now, but if you'll go to, it's identifythesigns.org, sorry. But they've got some great tips on things to look for in terms of speech, language, and hearing, which are important. I mean, sorry, I got a frog in my throat. There's over 31.5 million Americans that have hearing loss.
Wow.
Only 20% of them who could benefit from a hearing aid are actually wearing one. So there's a very small penetration in terms of people who could benefit that aren't getting that. And so the more people are aware, the more we can help them.
All right, now, Christine, let me ask you this. With elderly people, is it natural to have hearing diminish? What causes hearing to diminish?
Mostly it's the noisy culture that we live in. The longer you're exposed to noise over time, the more hearing loss you can develop. There's people in Africa that have never been around a machine that have perfect hearing in their 80s and 90s. It's very common in America. They call it presbycusis, or hearing due to aging. But it really is our ears being beat up over time by loud noises. And it's very common.
All right. Now, when you do start to lose hearing, at whether you're elderly or young, are there advances in trying to enhance maybe a recuperative type effect on your hearing?
There are. One of the things that people don't understand is we really hear with our brain, and the longer you go with hearing loss that's not treated, your brain actually will rewire itself, so it's important to preserve those signals and be able to bring back as much sound as possible. A big misconception is that hearing aids are like glasses. You put it on, you go, and you're done. But hearing loss is actually caused by nerve damage. And so we have to kind of retrain the brain how to use a signal again if there's been a period of time where they haven't been hearing well. And so it's a process. It's not a quick and done. And so hearing aid treatment really is a process. It's not just you get fit with hearing aids and you're done. But I will see patients multiple times to make sure that they're adjusting to the signal, that things are fit properly. I can actually measure what's coming out of the hearing aid based on their anatomy and their hearing loss, making sure that it's appropriate for them. And so it's more than just slapping something on and walking out the door.
Okay. Now, in my business, wearing headsets all the time and listening and having to have things turned up so that I can hear you and other people if I get them on the line, I'm probably more susceptible than most people for a hearing loss, am I not?
You could be. What it depends on is how loud the signal is and how long you're exposed to it. There's a combination. Like if you're in a really loud sound for a brief time, like a gunshot, or like a jackhammer, that's a really loud, quick, impactful sound, those can be very damaging with a brief exposure. But like if you're driving tractors or you're running equipment for long periods of time, you're in there 8-10 hours a day, that also has the same effect over time.
Why did you choose audiology? What was there about it that interested you that you wanted to become a professional audiologist?
Well, it actually started in high school. I did a service project at a nursing home where I helped a lady that had aphasia, which is a language impairment due to a stroke. And so when I started BYU, I took the intro class to speech pathology and audiology, and about 3 weeks into it, after I'd learned about both professions, I knew I wanted to be an audiologist. And so I changed my major. I went full done to get it done, and I was able to, I love what I do. I really enjoy helping people be connected to their families and feel like they're a part of life again.
Let me ask you, and I've kind of asked you this once already, but with the enhanced equipment, if you will, for hearing aids, etc., if somebody's almost without hearing, there's still hope for these people, is there not?
Absolutely, yes. We can help someone who's even legally deaf through cochlear implants or really super powerful hearing aids, depending on their hearing loss. There are lots of options that are available now. And it doesn't always have to be hearing technology. If you have a mild loss, I offer classes to help you learn how to listen better, how to use what you have and to make the most of it. You can actually train your brain to hear better in noise.
Now, isn't the cochlear implant, wasn't that the situation that Rush Limbaugh, the talk show host, had? He also had to have the hearing upgraded, if you will, with those surgical implants?
Yes, he does. And he actually just got a second implant when he was first diagnosed with his autoimmune disease of hearing loss. He got the first implant, and then just a few weeks ago, he got a second one on the other side. And it's really a miracle. If that had happened to him 20 years ago, he would not have had his career like he's had. But because of his implant, he can talk to people, he can hear their responses on the phone, and he can function even though he's legally deaf. It's an amazing thing.
Now, what about parents? What are some of the signs that they need to look for as far as their young children are concerned, as far as maybe they're not hearing what they should?
A big part is language delay. If they're not speaking clearly, if they're not using words at an appropriate time, you can kind of go by age. By the time they're 2, you should be able to understand at least half of what a child is saying, and by the time they're 5, they should be pretty much 100% intelligible. And so that's a big indicator. If their language is delayed and you have a hard time understanding what they're saying, that's a problem. If they've had a lot of ear infections, they are a much higher risk for developing a permanent hearing loss down the road. And so, be very proactive about treating those ear infections when they get sick.
One thing that just popped into my mind is that we're coming into the summer season, and a lot of kids are going to be going to the pools and the lakes, etc., and they're going to be doing a lot of swimming and have swimming lessons and everything. How dangerous is water in the ears as far as doing something to hurt hearing?
Generally, you're fine as long as the water evacuates the ear completely. It is only a problem if the ear can't dry, and so it's really important to make sure that the ear is dry. I don't like to tell people to use Q-tips, but that is one instance where very gently, just put it towards the opening and soak up any extra moisture, and that's helpful. As long as you're swimming in a sanitary pool that's been chlorinated, you don't really have to worry about infection at all. But it's like if you're swimming in a lake or something like that, you're at a little bit higher risk. So just make sure those ears are dry.
And if people have problems with water that stays in the ear canal itself for a couple of days, you would suggest, I'm sure, that they better go to a doctor before an infection starts, right?
Absolutely. If you're concerned at all, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Okay, what other things should people do? Should people, when they get to be old and antiques like me, should they schedule perhaps yearly or bi-yearly hearing tests, or what would you suggest?
Yes, I always recommend an annual hearing test. You get your eyes checked every year. You have an annual physical. A hearing test should be a part of it. And a lot of people around here don't even think about it. Your hearing is always on. You don't ever close your ears. It's just there, and we take it for granted. And hearing loss usually creeps up so slowly that they don't realize that they have a problem until it's pretty advanced. So if we can catch it early and start treatment early, the better the outcome.
Okay, so basically all I need to do is just call you at your new business, and I could come over and you could tell me, you got a problem, or at your age, being an antique, you've still got pretty good hearing.
Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to do it.
All right. Tell everybody where your business is located.
Sure. I am right behind Minidoka Memorial Hospital in the little physician's offices across from an emergency room. I'm in Unit 2. So the address is 1218 9th Street, Unit 2 in Rupert. And then my phone number is 312-0957. I have a website that has lots of good information about hearing and hearing technology and why an audiologist is different than other hearing aid dealers. And that is MountHarrisonAudiology.com. And Mount is MT and then Harrison because of our beautiful mountains. here in Minnetonka, and then audiology is AUDIOLOG.
All right.
Find me on Facebook.
Very good. Christine, I want to say thank you very much, and May is Better Hearing Month, and we wish you a lot of success in your business, and also you're going to be helping a lot of people, and I might just give you a call one of these days, and I'll come over and make sure that I can hear all the little pings and all the nuances that I should be hearing daily, okay?
I'd be thrilled to have you come. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you very much. Christine Pickup with her business, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And May is Better Hearing Month. Okay. Thank you very much. Gina, did you hear that?
You know, honestly, maybe I should make an appointment to see her because I am actually losing my hearing in one of my ears.
You know what? Now, I got to tell you this. After I had the plane crash way back in 1971, the hearing in my right ear, for some reason, is probably half or less of what it should be.
In my right ear, honestly, when I was a little girl, there was apparently a big old wax ball that was up against my eardrum. So it warped my eardrum, and then they eventually did some testing on me, and they said, well, you know, you are going to lose your hearing in your right ear. So I've got half of my hearing. And so when I go to sleep at night, I lay on my left ear because I can't really hear anything out of my right ear. And so it's kind of like my buffer when I'm trying to sleep.
Well, and you know, in my business, you know, I wear the earpieces, you know, to hear the monitors, and especially in the rodeo business, to hear.
You wear the ones that go inside your ear. You wear the earbuds. I could not do that.
Yeah, I wear what the earbuds or the bubbles or whatever you want to call them, and kind of squish them on the inside of the ear. And the reason is I have to hear not only the music, but I also have to hear the clown, and I have to hear anything else over the microphone. Plus, you judge and gauge basically your voice just like a singer would or anybody else. And I know that and I have to turn it up louder than most. I've had people sit here in the studio and say, holy smokes, how can you stand it that loud? Well, when you have one ear that is about half hearing and then you compensate, you have to turn it up. And I know that I probably damaged my hearing just by sitting here in the studio.
Oh, you know, with this particular job that we have, of course, I've got a very nice set of headphones, but mine are the over-the-ear, not the in-the-ear. I can't stand that. But I have mine almost halfway, you know, on the dial, and so it's up more than most. And I know that, of course, I've been to lots of very, very loud music concerts. You know, I listen to loud speakers and everything, and so I think in this industry we are more apt to hearing loss than others, but we need to go in and have our ears checked, Deb.
I know I do, but I was talking to, and I'm glad you mentioned that about music. Excuse me. I was talking to a drummer for a very well-known country music band about 2 years ago, and we were sitting there talking, and he leaned real close, and he said, I absolutely have to watch people's lips when they talk, so that sometimes if I'm not hearing correctly, I can make out what they say. He said being on stage almost 5 nights out of 7 with the drums and the amplifiers and everything, he said I've lost almost 90% of his hearing.
You know, and I wouldn't be surprised, especially in the music, you know, when you're up on stage and stuff. And when I am talking to people, I have to turn my left ear towards them. I'm watching their lips and I'm watching what they're saying so I can, you know, catch everything. But I also have to turn my left ear towards them as well, because I just, honestly, if you're talking on my right side or if you're talking on my right side behind me, I'm not going to hear you. I'll hear you. I hear mumbling. That's what I hear. And so I'll turn around, but I just don't hear it.
Well, and the other thing that's dangerous, and I'm glad Christine mentioned this, is, you know, they sell the Q-tips and they always say keep your ears clean and everything. You've got to be extremely careful when you put those Q-tips in your ear that you're basically not pushing the waxy matter further into the ear and eventually cut it off so you can't hear anything.
Exactly, and then you have to have your ears flushed out, which I've actually had to have done before.
That is ugly.
Oh, it is. Which, by the way, I wanted to tell you, we have Pastor Alex Lissau on the phone with us right now.
I appreciate that, and I'm going to get right to him right after I do this commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, best tire value promise in the industry, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my goodness, when you talk about tires, whether it's for your car, whether it's for your pickup, your SUV, your horse trailer, your boat trailer, trailer. Alex ought to be paying attention when I say boat trailer. The best in tires for wherever you're going to drive are right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Free lifetime tire and mileage care, free flat repairs, free tire rotations, free tire rebalancing, free air checks, free brake and alignment checks. Everything right there is serviced to you at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Don't forget to stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Ladies and gentlemen, with me on the telephone right now is Pastor Alex Lissau with the Trinity Lutheran Church in Eden, and I just want to say good morning to you, Pastor, and today the National Day of Prayer, and your thoughts on this day.
Good morning, Zeb. Well, we certainly need prayer. We absolutely do, and maybe, I can't say maybe now more than ever, but we certainly do need it terribly now because of the situations that we face, and so let's do that. Let's pray. Excuse me, let's pray. Heavenly Father, Almighty God, you are our strength and our refuge, and you are the God in whom we place our trust. Today we face all kinds of assaults on your word and your will for this nation. Many have turned their backs to you. No wonder that we see great distress and uncertainty in our time. So many have sacrificed so much for the life of this nation. Your one and only Son, Jesus, gave his life for all people that we might be redeemed from the fallen world, and yet it seems we continue to race headlong into destruction. Help us, Lord. We today, with thousands, even millions across the nation, pray that we might see your hand turn us around before we complete and fall. Your faithful servant Abraham Lincoln said that no power could ever take over this nation, but that whatever destruction that we might face would come from within. Gracious Father, we pray that by your Holy Spirit that people's eyes would be opened, that we would turn to you and not to foolishness. Lord God, ruler of all men, we confess our sinful nature, disorderly minds, rebellious hearts. We recognize our need for your guidance, rule, and discipline. We ask you to provide us with just laws, love for one another, leadership by responsible and honorable people, judges who are wise, legislators with integrity, and executives who are honest with the way they deal with everything and everyone. We pray for your help, Lord God, to exercise our freedoms, discharge our obligations, hold the law and our nation's constitution in high regard, and that we might hold fast to the foundations that made this nation great in your eyes. Return your honored name to our schools, Lord, to our government, and to all the people and families around us. Give us a passion to pray for our land and its people. Protect and defend us against our enemies, and may the cause of Christ always prevail in our schools and our courts, our homes and our churches. Lord God, send your Spirit into our hearts, into our families, into our homes, into the halls of Congress, and guide us in America, so that that world around us also will hear the cry of God across the nations and across the world. Give us the strength to continue with our powerful foundations that you have set for us in faith, morality, honor, and truth, that it would always prevail against all those who would take our freedoms away. This country was built on your power and authority, as men, women, and children always look to you. Let it be so again, Lord. In the name of our Savior, Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Pastor Alex Lissau, Trinity Lutheran Church, Eden, thank you so much on this National Day of Prayer. God bless you, sir. Thank you for your time this morning.
God bless you and all of the people who are listening and all of our people in this country.
Thank you, sir.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for this week on Zeb at the Ranch, and I want to say thank you to everybody, all of my guests. I want to say thank you to all of our listeners, and we want to say thanks to all of our advertisers and sponsors. We'll be back again on next Monday at 8:06, and more Zeb at the Ranch. And the dog's barking. We've got guests coming in the door. We're going to say that's it. Adios. We'll hope that you have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather, the way things were, or the way things ought to be. We'll see you next Monday. Thanks, Gina.